Well, good morning, Groovers. So this is a Mitsubishi Delica Space Gear 1997 four-wheel drive. It's a Series 2 V6. The model is PD6W and the donk is a 6G72. It's got genuine low Ks. It's very straight. It's got no battle damage and zero rust. I'll just jump in and show you the Ks on the clock. Okay, so up the top it's got a 3/4 length steel roof rack, gutter mounted. Okay, it's got two hard mounted solar panels. You can see one there on an angle and one laying flat for a total of 240 watts. It's got a high lift jack and long handle shovel there. It's got one comms aerial on the roof there. At the back it's got a work light. On this side here are recovery tracks and an awning. Now that awning is 2 by 3 meters. It's also got a fully enclosed tent, and as an addition to that I've got a central aluminium spreader bar with two side spreader bars just to give it a bit more stability, especially in the wind and rain. Okay, so up the front we've got a winch bar with a 12,000 pound soft rope winch. We've got two recovery eyelets there, 9-inch LED spotties. We've got a floodlight bar there, UHF aerial, comms aerial. We've got 4 shoeroos on it. There's 2 there and 2 there, and we've got a snorkel. Okay, so at the back we've got a tow bar with a rear tyre swing, and you can see that it incorporates rear wheel arch rock sliders. Okay, there's also a ladder there for roof access and an external luggage bag for rubbish or dirty recovery gear. Rear tyres on a gas strut, and that hose coming up there is from the water tank, and that's just a breather. Okay guys, under the bonnet, this vehicle's had a full recent service which included the timing belt, oil and fuel filters. It had a coolant flush. We've put in iridium plugs, new leads. We've got a steel expansion tank, a brand new crank battery. We've also got an automatic transmission thermal fan on a temperature switch and a kill switch bypass in the cabin. I'll show you that in a sec. We've got a K&N high flow air filter. This here is the isolator between the crank and the auxiliary charge. The little one next to it there is a isolator for the winch. Over on this side we've got the air horn stashed up in that little space there. Now I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but up here is, just in front of the subcooler there, is a thermal fan. See if I can get it on video. Yeah, there it is there, thermal fan. And that is on a temp switch. And I didn't show you on the other one, but the controller for the winch. The controller for the winch is just here. Okay, so this vehicle's got steel rims, all-terrain tyres with about maybe 60% tread. Each side's got full steel heavy-duty rock sliders. I'll go around and show you the passenger side also. Passenger side rock slider, same as the other one, full length. Under here we've got a long range fuel tank. It's 125 litres. We can get 850 k's on the highway without needing to fill up. We've got the exhaust modified. You can see on the other side there it's a dump point that comes out in front of the rear tyre. We've had to do that modification to the exhaust to allow the water tank installation in the rear. We've got a full suspension upgrade, so down the back heavy duty springs, just to account for the payload weight. And because of the long range fuel tank, we've had to put new torsion bars up the front. They're the shortened version torsion bars to allow the retrofit of the tank. The gearbox has had a full service. When I say full service, it's had a full flush, so that includes the torque converter. The pan's been removed. We've got new filters and gaskets throughout, so yeah, the gearbox has had a full service as well. So up where the spare tyre used to live, we've got a 59 litre water tank that's been sandwich plated into the chassis with marine ply and high tensile bolts and brackets. So I'll just show you this side. This is okay. So the pump is there. You can see the inlet is there, and just there is a drain valve, which comes to the rear of the vehicle. This is just there, and the pump itself is actually housed in some aluminium just there. Okay, so in the cabin we've got new carpet installed that goes all the way through to the back. Okay, next thing is the Kenwood headset. So this is Bluetooth compatible, CD player, iPod, radio. It's got the whole box and dice. I believe you can also put in sat nav to that. I'll just see if I can get it to go for you. Okay, so the reversing cameras, it's not going to come on, but the reversing camera is installed on the back there as well. The other camera we've got here is a side mounted camera, a little switch for it just here. So that comes on. This helps us get into really tight car parks. That's mounted on that mirror there. And then we've got the front recording camera, which is just there. Okay, so over to this side now we've got the phone cradle. So there's charge points installed just here for your phone. And then the microphone that goes to the headset is just there. Okay, so moving on to the digital gauge cluster here, we've got this one here that monitors crank and auxiliary volts. You'll all know that's a standard temperature for outside. This one here is digital coolant temperature and oil pressure. And the two pilot lights here, this one kicks in when the automatic transmission thermal fan is running, and this one here kicks in when... Okay, so now for gadgets and switches. Two-way radios installed just there. Spotlight button is just there. These three buttons here are standard to the vehicle. Over here I've modified this cluster here. So this one here is a override switch for the automatic transmission thermal fan, so you can either have it on auto or off. The next one is the air horns, and park lights are just there. I'll just give you a demo on the air horns. Or standard. Alright, this one here measures tyre pressure and temperature. So there's little sender units installed on the tyres that give that feedback. Okay, so behind this one here is where the Telstra 5G modem lives. This one here plugs into the two comms aerials outside the vehicle, and it gives us really good reception for Wi-Fi internet, onboard Wi-Fi when we're travelling. It's a really neat little feature. And I should point out this also, I've got an iPod installed behind the camera, but I will remove that. It won't be part of the deal. Okay, then at the top here we've got this little Waco fridge / heater. We do sometimes use it for a fridge just for drinks on the road, but predominantly it's just storage. Okay, and then if you roll this forward, underneath here is storage area, so we just keep our recovery gear in there, first aid kit, sun lotions, all that sort of stuff. And to finish off inside, in this little drawer under the seat here is our recovery gear. So there's shackles and slings and tree trunk protectors and block. We've got this one here that attaches to the high lift jack that hooks onto your rim, so you can lift a tyre out of the sand and put your recovery tracks down. It's a really good little device. So that whole box just slides up there underneath the seat. And the other thing we've got in the cabin, lastly, is the 3-speed 12-volt fan. And that just hangs down into the back of the camper, which is where we're heading next. Yay. Okay, so in the back of the camper, on this side here, we've got portable gas hot water. On top of that thing, that orange thing there, is the foot for the high lift jack that you can use if you're on sandy areas. Next to that, we've got a 1500 watt inverter with a 4-port 240 volt GPO outlet. Next to that is the solar controller. This here is the solar regulator. Below that is the circuit breaker for the inverter. The red button there is for the 90 litre fridge, which I'll show you in a sec. Everything on this board is used on a common switch breaker. This panel here is all fused and switched, so I'm on a really bad angle. I'm not sure if I can show you that, but basically everything in the van is switched from here. Over there you've got auxiliary volts, USB chargers and other stuff I'll show you on the other side because I can't quite get to it from this side. But behind this panel here is pretty much yeah, so I have fully nerded out on this build and made my own wiring diagram showing you where everything for the auxiliary stuff is coming and going to, how it's all connected. Okay, so over this side of the box we've got this little switch here. This is just an extra little fan I've installed into the fridge compartment to remove hot air if you're camped up in a really hot area. Auxiliary volts, USB chargers, sockets. These two things here is measuring what the solar is generating and what the auxiliary is using. And there's a little description panel here explaining what all the menus are for. And there's some plugs everywhere throughout the vehicle. Behind this one here is a 60 amp fuse that separates the crank to auxiliary battery, and there's another switch here which is the main isolator for everything on the auxiliaries, and now that I've turned that on you should see the other one start to monitor usage. Okay, so inside the van, straight up you can see that it's got a queen size inner spring mattress. It's got nice pictures inside. Actually behind those pictures is foamed out, so these three windows here are completely blacked out. Fans there. Up top we've got a smoke detector. There's one LED there on a dimmer. There's another LED there on a dimmer. These things here are for your phones, and there's phone chargers each side. Okay. So in the stepwell we've got another LED on a dimmer. Okay, and here's the fridge. I need two ends to slide this out, so give me a sec. It's a 90 litre twin side fridge on a slide out. It's really, really big and quite heavy. It's on this slide out now. You can see that I've got timber on each side to stop the fridge from moving within the slide out. And the controlling of the fridge is in here. It's a little bit hard to get to, and at times a little bit hard to see, but I've got a little instruction manual on top of the fridge there, so you can learn to drive it quite easily. Stashed up in here is my hammock. I've got a couple of tins of spray. I've got the fold up tent for the toilet and shower, and there's a couple of recovery slings and a few contraband items, things of that nature get stashed up there. Above that I've got the LEDs that get installed for the awning in the tent when that's all set up. Just to mention what's above the other wheel arch there, I've already showed you the portable hot water, but behind that is where the deep cycle battery lives. Okay. Right, so at the back of the van, to start off with, I'll show you these two LEDs on the door. There's a dimmer here for that. Okay, and I've put those lights there for a specific purpose for these two large coffin drawers. Before I pull them out, I'll just show you the workbenches. These just pop up and click into place, so you can cook on them or empty your drawers or whatever. There's one coffin drawer fully extended. It's currently full of camping gear. I'll just get the other one out. This one's relatively empty at the moment. So they're quite large, you can fit a lot of gear in them. And you can see those lights there are designed to rummage through in the dark of night. Right, I've just removed a little bit of gear from this corner here. I'll show you what it is. Up in there I've got a privacy screen for when your awning is extended. And I've got this white bag here. These are fly screens, which I'll set up and show you in a sec. And this one here is a special water hose to fill the water tank. So they all come out of this hole up here. Now also here there's three switches for the water pump. There's one in the front control cupboard. There's another trigger switch just here. You can hear it starting. I'll just turn it off. And then behind here, sorry, it's quite dark and bad. It's hard with only one hand. And behind there is where the pressure switch for the pump lives, so you can adjust it. And it's protected, so it doesn't get damaged. And then also up here is my 8 metre. It's actually an airline, but I'm using it for water, so I'll just retract that out. So you can have water within 8 metres of your camp for showering or washing up or whatever. However, when you are drinking, I've got a carbon canister that fits onto that hose, so you can have nice fresh drinking water wherever you are. Okay, now on this side here, I've got my twin piston compressor. Now the on for that is just in here. I'll just turn it on quickly for you. Okay, and then stashed above that is the airline for it. There's a regulator there. I've got a plug kit stashed up the side there also, and there's another recovery sling. You can never have too many of those, right? So on the other side of this cupboard there's a wall, so these 3 compartments are all separated, and this compressor is hard mounted. Okay. So next, when you're parked up and camping, we've got proper fitted fly nets for each of the passenger doors. You can see how they fit. Little elastic strap there. Perfect little cutout for the mirror. That window's down, look. And then one for the back also. And then sometimes when we're camping up, we just tuck the fly net under the mattress so we can have no bugs but still access our drawers. And it's that. Lastly, I'll show you the privacy screens. These are the rear ones. They just tuck up in there, like so. Came inside the van now. This is looking at the side door privacy blind. It's just a little black roller blind I've installed here. So it just fairly simple to operate him. Plugs into that bulldog clip there, so you can pull it nice and tight. And of course the front privacy blinds. Don't use those a great deal. Can't get in through the window there because of the blind on the window, and the other privacy blind on this side. The reflection's terrible, hold on. That's it.